and we had a small village as a post where we had a telephone line rung out there, and the main force was a place called War, and we used to go out patrolling, and it was anywhere up to your ankles, up to your neck in water because the monsoons was on, and to go to this island part we had to use boats first because it's far too deep and fast flowing to do anything else. And then we had to march across to the village, and it was there that we fought our last battle. The Japanese broke in one night and shot up the small force that we had there, and then the old battalion was called in, and we charged through the bush and got rid of the Japanese who were there, and that was the last fight and probably one of the last battles of the war there, and that was in August. And so then the rumour went round that the war had ended, and nobody really believed it, knowing what the Japanese were. And I can remember somebody saying, yeah, it's finished because the Americans had dropped a bomb on Japan, and nobody was going to believe that. And 2 or 3 days later, somebody said, oh, the war definitely ended because the Americans had dropped another bomb on Japan, and nobody believed that either, knowing what the Japanese were. And of course, we didn't know anything about the atom bomb. And then, of course, it did, but we had to keep going for a while because there was a lot of Japanese groups coming across country who had no means or way of knowing that the war had ended, that the emperor had stopped the war. And so we had to keep going for a little. And so we found ourselves in Bangkok on a palace that General Evans of 7th Indian Division HQ, and we found there was something like 150,000 Japanese prisoners of war were there, which must have been frightening for us when 22 of us turned up. But anyway, we settled down to guard the HQ, and I was on guard when General Slim arrived and inspected the guard, and I was also on duty when one evening when a small convoy came down the road, and I refused to let them in because it was a flag car's gate only, and after a few words with the officer in charge, he informed me that he had Lady Mountbatten in a limousine. So I phoned up the duty officer in HQ, who, when I mentioned Lady Mountbatten, he said let them in, which I did. And so we just went on there until such times as the battalion came in and started to take over. And from there I went home on leave. And then of course I came back and we soldiered on into Thailand. We had Bangkok University as a barracks. D Company, there wasn't enough room there. D Company had, I was on station on the race course. They had a camp there. And we landed up in the end helping war crimes people. And we went up country, A Company that was, which was my company. We went up country to a place called Nakhon Nayok, and there they had a large ground there where we screened 3,000 Japanese a day into 3 groups, black, grey and white. And the black and the grey, they were either war criminals or had been a witness to war criminals, and any whites, they could be used for a workforce or eventually being sent back to Japan. And eventually we landed up with 300 who we had in Ban Quang jail in Bangkok It was a rather big civvy prison with gun turrets around the walls, and we had a scare one night when one of the sentries found blood flowing down the floor, and we found that one of the old colonels there had cut his throat. And anyway, he was rushed off to hospital, and my company commander went to see him in the morning, and he was sitting up in bed, quite all right, and he offered my company commander many apologies for the inconvenience that he caused.